I'm here to talk about Joe's role from the original Blues Clues series, and for the first 4 seasons, the show was focused on Steve and Blue, but towards the end of the fourth season, it was revealed that Steve had a younger brother, Joe. And Joe, he showed up to the house and um, got to hang out, got to introduce himself, uh, and he stuck around for a couple of episodes, and then it turned out Steve would be going. He would be leaving the house. And with Steve going, who would take care of Blue? Who would take care of the other residents of the Blues Clues household? And who would be interacting with the viewers? Well, it turns out it's Joe. And the thought of Steve leaving, it's sad. It could even be considered a little bit heartbreaking. But what I love is that yes, Steve left, but he left us with somebody that's also wonderful. And I do feel that strongly about Joe, because I feel like Joe's not just like, oh, okay, we got a decent person to fill in for Steve. It's like, no, I do love Joe. And just because I grew up with Steve and Steve is really kind of the big standout for me, that doesn't mean that I can't love Joe too, and is also Josh, because I do. And I think Joe did a wonderful job taking over, and he had his own character where he's there to fulfill pretty much the same role that Steve did, being the character that the viewers followed, and he would be the character that would look for the clues, and he would be pretty much Blue's guardian and would be a really likable character. But he was comedic, which Steve was, but Joe felt more comedic in a different kind of way, where he had his own style, he had his own way of acting. He's great. I think he did an amazing job, and I feel like he really doesn't get enough credit because having to go directly after Steve, and Steve is really loved for a lot of people. He is pretty much as meaningful and impactful and inspirational as Mr. Rogers. At least that's how I feel about him. And Joe, he did a great job though, and I feel like that needs to be acknowledged. And despite Steve not being there, despite his absence being felt, I love seasons 5 and 6, and I think that is because of Joe and because he helped carry the show after Steve was gone. And I think it's time that fans, I feel like they kind of need to forgive Joe because he really did nothing wrong. So yeah, I love Joe, and you can let me know in the comments what you think of Joe's role in the original Blues Clues series.